movies you missed. I am so glad you could join us this week as we continue on this week with Riley's pick. But welcome to all of you. Everyone is here. Kat, JT, Daniel, and Riley. Welcome, everybody.
Are JT and Daniel here? No one knows because they're never on camera.
Mystery.
JT's a bot, actually.
I was going to say that sounded pretty bottish to me.
I am here. Recorded. Yeah, that's right. Not many people realize we actually edit in their voices after the fact. We just hold up like cards.
We're just three lonely people that watch movies and want more people to
We've
Riley will be playing the part of Jason.
Profiles.
Yes, the canned sitcom laughter.
Well, I'm in the mood for a good laugh, so Riley, why don't you tell us what movie you picked for us to watch this week?
A good laugh, yes. I chose the Zodiac as my film. It's a 2007 mystery film, true crime following the manhunt for the Zodiac killer in San Francisco. It was directed by David Fincher. It was based off of a screenplay that was written by James Vanderbilt, which was then based off of a book written by Robert Graysmith, who is one of the main characters in the movie as well. The movie stars Jake Gyllenhaal, Mark Ruffalo, and Robert Downey Jr. I chose this movie. I can't remember when I watched it first, but it was the first kind of movie of its style that I watched, of sort of a true crime, slightly dramatized type of film, and it sort of opened that kind of world to me. This was sort of in the realm of when Kat was sort of getting me into horror movies and stuff, but like it was around that time, I think, but like I was still getting into them, so like I wanted something that was like, like along that line, so like wasn't like, I could also watch alone in my room without staying up all night with a knife. So, these sort of true crime mystery ones where they like freak you out and they like make you question stuff the entire movie. Like, I don't know, I kind of fell in love with them, and they were this was the first one that I watched. So it will always sort of be a staple in my mind. And I really liked it. So that's sort of why I chose it. But I would love to hear what other people have to say, good, bad, or otherwise, about the film. So
have to say otherwise. No, I'm just kidding.
Boring. No.
No, it was good. It reminds me of those genres, like, well, not those genres, the genre of like Seven and Silence of the Lambs and The Bone Collector and all of that. So what you're telling me is that this is based on a true story that went into a screenplay, that went into a book, that went into a movie?
Robert
you know?
The person that Jake Gyllenhaal played in the movie,
yeah,
the book that he said he was going to write at the end of the movie, he did actually write.
Okay, yes.
And then someone, it says here that James Vanderbilt, he had read the book because he grew up in the Bay Area of San Francisco. And he had majored in film and screenplay writing, so he wrote a script based off of it and pitched it to Graysmith. to which they ended up making a movie from.
Oh, that's cool. Well, yeah, Zodiac's always been one of the first serial killers I ever learned about in my education of serial killers. In my horror and true crime fashion. So I thought it was a good movie. I didn't know it was going to be that long, but I think it was really kind of, if you've read or like watched documentaries on the actual killings, it's pretty true to that. I always love these movies because there's always a moment in them where you just like, oh my gosh, you were so close. Like they always bring the guy in for questioning, or like they get stopped at a traffic stop, or these, just like in the Imposter, like back in the day, bureaus of policing didn't connect or didn't share information. So I feel like serial killers kind of have like a loophole to go through as long as they didn't keep killing in the same district. But I also kind of like to learn about what makes people tick and why they're like that. So I found it was a good movie. If I had started watching it earlier, I wouldn't have been so tired. But overall, I liked it.
Like 1 p.m.
Yeah, like you guys started at 9 a.m.
9 a.m. First, got your coffee and your bagel and a cereal.
Take an intermission for a nap at like 10:30.
What's actually interesting about what you said about it staying so true to the actual case is that actually David Fincher, the director, Vanderbilt, the writer of the original screenplay, and the producer, spent 18 months conducting their own investigation based off of the evidence that was found in the original case, so that they were fully immersed in what the case was.
Not have wanted to have their dreams for those 18 months, because that's pretty good. That's actually cool to know, because I feel like it stayed pretty true to, it wasn't like over exaggerated or anything like that. It was really well done that way.
And Kat was around during that time, so I mean, she would know.
I heard a story about it from an old man I met on the street. I think his name was Steve.
Touche.
Mostly just ramblings.
I deserve that. So that's fair.
But like in the 80s and early on, there were so many serial killers that were prevalent, and I believe it was because of DNA not being up to speed, as well as the bureaus of policing not being as connected as they are right now, because you're always like, where are the serial killers of today? Maybe people just got lazy. But it's with all of the new technology and stuff like that it's been really, people have been able to be caught a lot faster. That's not me encouraging anyone to become a serial killer.
Screenfish does not endorse the views of Catherine.
You're getting off your lazy butt and just killing multiple in creative ways.
But if you are, you need to start an OnlyFans to be able to promote.
We're back to the OnlyFans, man. That's
the next horror movie. Like remember Cam Girl or like Unfriended? Now it's going to be like OnlyFans murder mystery movie.
But not on Screenfish. That will.
I don't know. I didn't think we'd watch half of these movies on Screenfish. The net is getting wider. Get it? The net
right.
Fishing.
My mistake. Daniel, JT, what'd you think?
Oh, you're gonna have to turn on your Daniel or JT voice, Riley.
Oh yeah, sorry. Give me a second. Yeah.
I enjoyed the film.
If we're doing JT first, I need to talk like I'm talking into a pillow. So.
I enjoyed it. I will throw out a warning. This movie is not about Geminis and Scorpios and Libras.
I didn't understand my horoscope at all at the end of this movie.
Right? No, I thought it was good. I definitely heard about the Zodiac killer before, but like never really went and looked into it. I did know about this movie, and I had it like kind of on my list to watch. So I'm glad that I got the chance to with all of you. But yeah, it was good. I thought, I mean, when it's based off of a true story, and I guess from what I'm hearing from like some of you guys, it's like pretty well, similar to what actually happened. It's not, doesn't over exaggerate things and whatever. So that's pretty cool. I don't know, like I feel like I don't really have a lot to say. Like I enjoyed it. I like thriller movies. I like having to kind of think about what's happening. Yeah, overall I enjoyed it. I don't think there was anything in particular that I was like, oh, they should have done this differently, or the writing seems bad in this part or whatever. I thought the acting was really good. They had a good cast. Yeah, overall I liked it.
It was a pre-MCU cast. I mean,
Yeah,
it's not that they were no names, far from it, but it's funny to see the three of them. Well, I guess two of them became Avengers. One of them was only in one movie, but it's kind of funny. Mind you, everyone's in the MCU. We might be in the MCU right now. I have no idea. It's a very David Fincher movie, and the second one we've had in this season of movies you missed.
What was the other one?
The Social Network is David Fincher.
Oh, look at his range.
That's he. From a sociopath to serial killers, it's a broad net.
From sociopath to sociopath.
That's right. Broad, wide variety. But it's
in the boardroom and in the streets.
David Fincher does not like sunlight. I'm convinced he lives in a basement somewhere. But his films, even the ones that aren't as good as other ones, are always interesting. I find, like, there's been David Fincher movies that I liked more than others, but there have not been any that didn't interest me that I've seen. And I thought this was really well done. I thought it was really well done. I thought it was, again, yeah, I admit, a little long. It's funny. It's not the length. It's how it feels. Like sometimes I can watch a 3-hour movie and think it took, 20 minutes. Sometimes I can watch a 90-minute movie and feel like I've been there for 6 hours. And Fincher movies are often very slow. Just let people sit in the crap that is their life. But I
do that on the daily. I don't want to pay to do that.
What did you want? Like a clown? Like what?
Hey, maybe he should do the John Wayne Gacy one movie.
There you go. There it is. If David Fincher put like a clown into this, all right.
You said it.
Now it's OnlyFans. That's.
Hey, what did you think of this rom-com?
Pretty romantic. Very sweet.
It's a good date movie.
Just a lonely guy trying to find someone and getting rejected. And honestly, I'm glad he keeps getting away. He's gonna find someone who really cares about him.
He's still out there searching. Why does no one come to Lover's Lane anymore? Where's the guy supposed to meet a girl to kill?
Once again, Screenfish does not endorse
creeping around Lover's Lanes to find that special someone. Or a piece of them.
Ooh.
Gosh.
That was pretty good though. I did like how they try to incorporate all the different like theories behind who it was.
Yeah.
And like what went wrong in the investigation and stuff. It felt like it was trying to be a documentary in the way it was like what happened. But then, it's dramatized for film. But yeah, I thought it was pretty good. And then in the end, it seems like they're pointing towards, well, and also the evidence, of course. It's that guy who worked at what's it called? The call place or whatever. And then it seems like it was two people, which was really interesting. But yeah, overall, pretty good. Well done. And Jake Gyllenhaal did really good acting in it as well.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, they do sort of point towards that one guy at the end, and a lot of people do still think that it is that guy, or he is at least involved.
Who was it again?
It
David
was-
Berkowitz?
Oh.
Sorry?
No, it wasn't David Berkowitz. That's a different guy.
John Benet Ramsey.
Oh, yes.
It was not.
Who was it?
Ray Smith? No, that's Gyllenhaal.
No, it's John Carroll Lynch.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
That's what I said.
I think he did the killings, and then the weird guy from the movie theater did all the writing and stuff. It was like a little,
Gary Francis Posty.
yeah, I think it's good. Creepy guy.
Creepy guy. Yeah, a lot of people still think it was him, but they said something at the end of the movie. I can't remember exactly the wording, but something along the lines that because obviously this case, for anyone who doesn't know, is still open. It is still an active investigation. It's not been closed, and I believe they said something like they ran the off of the crime scenes again with the updated technology, and none of the DNA matched him.
Yeah, it says the end, like at the end of the movie, the text reads as follows. Following Mike Magow's identification of Arthur Lee Allen, authorities scheduled a meeting to discuss charging him with the murders. Allen suffered a fatal heart attack before this meeting could take place.
Yeah, so he was the main guy, and he died.
Coward.
Yeah, he knew it was coming.
I just looked it up here, just to double check, and it says here that even though they question Allen before he died, when they ran the DNA and the fingerprints again, the fingerprints didn't match, so it's all just circumstantial evidence.
Or did he burn off his fingerprints, like a lot of people do?
Not that he didn't have fingerprints; they just didn't match.
Oh, I was gonna say, burn off your fingerprints, dummy.
Who is it then?
Maybe it's one of you. You.
Well,
listen.
Imagine the Zodiac killers in a seniors home somewhere going, it was.
he's got a Google alert set to Zodiac, and he's watching this right now. And he's like, "Hey,
You say it 3 times, he appears. Damn it, you've caught me. You figured out the clue."
What do you think about the way that Fincher depicts the world? Like, I feel like this is an interesting one because it just feels so hopeless to me. Now, that's not uncommon for Fincher, but I was just wondering what you thought about that.
I feel like for the time that it was, it's pretty relevant.
Like the world just sucked back in the 1970s? Is that what you're saying?
No, but everything they talked about and did and made it look like was how it was back then.
I suppose.
Yeah, I don't even think he was trying to. I think it wasn't that he made the world seem depressing or anything. I think he just sort of was just realistic with it. You know, like even with like what was Robert Downey Jr.'s character's name? I forget. When he got fired from his job after not being unable to finish the case and stuff. How, you know, they didn't try and like they didn't harp on the fact that, you know, he became like an absolutely raging alcoholic afterwards. They just sort of They said it and stated it and left it as fact, and just sort of, they didn't try and dramatize anything with how crap life is. They just sort of were kind of just honest with it.
Yeah. That was actually sort of what I was thinking of too, because I think it's not very often that you see one of the heroes sort of give up in a movie. Like, I mean, Gyllenhaal doesn't. Iron Man, yeah, what a quitter!
It was before he figured out how to make his suit. That's actually what got him sober.
Oh my god, that would be an amazing crossover.
The films are connected. This was a prequel. It's actually what drove Mark Ruffalo to become the Hulk as well. He was, just pure rage.
Well, I mean, hey, if you go on to Disney Plus into the Spider-Verse section of Marvel, there is Phineas and Ferb on there because there's a few episodes they did with Marvel characters.
There you go. But no, I just thought it was really interesting. Like, I think that's interesting that you brought up Downey's character, because I think in this particular film, that was something that caught my attention. It's just a simple thing, but it's so rare in mainstream film just to see one of the heroes just be like, "No, I'm out," and not like come back at the end with a heroic hurrah. Like, there's just this film. I mean, much of Fincher's work, if not all, is very bleak. But this one just seemed so bleak to me, and I don't know whether that's realism or whether that's just like, I mean, in this case, it might be because this is a historical case. But dang, it's just like, oh.
It goes back to the good old boys in like detectives and like the police station and stuff like that, right? Like, it was very male centered. Mm. And things like drinking at your desk were allowed or not spoken of or anything. Like, I don't know if it was bleak to me. I feel like it was just like what Riley said. They didn't hype anything up or make it look worse than it was. But it was just like, this was the reality of being a detective during this time. You didn't see your family. You worked nonstop. And a lot of times you didn't get to figure out who did it in the end. Like, I watch a lot of these documentaries where detectives get pulled back in on cases that were happening years after retirement to ask about like what's happened, and they finally get to see that ending or understand that people are still working on this. But in those days, you would burn out or become an alcoholic or get a divorce, and you would, or move up in the chain, and you would never know. But you'd have that glory of being like, my name was on that case.
I think it also was slightly deliberate in the fact that, like, as I'm thinking back on it, Downey's character wasn't the only one that gave up. Mm-hmm. Ruffalo's arguably did as well. Yeah. Right? Like, for the, like, pretty much like what, like the last third of the movie, it was only Jake Gyllenhaal's character that was really investigating it actively. They had all given up, and I feel like that sort of bleakness might have been done even slightly on purpose, in the fact that, the truth of the matter is that the case never got solved. Yeah. No matter what any of them did, the case never got solved, which arguably is a very bleak outcome for a movie. And that was actually one of the things when they originally pitched it that studios had an issue with, was the such unconclusive ending. And
don't get their nice, tidy little wrapped up package of a movie.
Yeah, so why would they have a Robert Downey Jr. heroic comeback at the end when that's not what happened? And why would they have, Ruffalo's character be pulled back and have a massive brainwave where they have one of those like spinning camera shots as they're like thinking all of that, when that didn't happen, right?
Yeah, I'm just asking, as we're talking about it, what do we do with an ending like that? Like,
that's reality.
So, man, reality sucks. Like, I'm not talking about the facts of the case. I'm just talking about, like, when you walk out of that film, like, what do we do with that? We just sit there and say,
You solve the case.
that's right.
And now it's up to you next time on America's Most Wanted. I think it's good in the sense that, like, everyone knows the case. There's no, like, big spoilers unless you've been living under a rock or true crime's not your thing, which is the same thing to me. But I'm just kidding. But it like, look at, and it goes with the genre of movie. Like, look at the end of Silence of the Lambs. Like, that wasn't a happy-go-lucky ending. Seven, anyone remember the end of that movie? That was a bleak and, like,
What's in the
horrifically.
box?
I've never seen it.
Oh, put that on your list, my friend.
Oh,
I've
that
never
is a
seen
real-
Seven. I really.
Next week on Screen. Steve meets Brad Pitt and never watches a movie again.
It took me. I didn't see Fight Club for like 10 years.
Close his eyes for a week.
Yeah. It's just, even that genre of movie at that time, if you line it up with other ones, they all left very bleak endings because, you know what? Sometimes life just isn't fair.
I mean, it's true. I can't argue with that. Sometimes reality sucks. Reality bites. Yeah, that was a good movie. Yeah. Different type of movie. But you know, and I'm glad that although that hardware store scene at the end, I'm like, oh no.
What happened?
Jake Gyllenhaal stares down the guy he thinks is the Zodiac killer in the hardware store.
Oh.
And then he just leaves and he writes a book. And it's like, I know what you did last summer. But
Well, that's what he told
and
his
the
wife.
summer before that, and the summer. No.
That's what he told his wife, right? Well, his ex-wife, when she said, "When is this all going to be over?" He said, "When I'm able to look the man in the eyes and know that he's the one who did it, even if
So
not."
do you think the real detective is out there as a ghost still hunting to look in the face of the Zodiac killer?
Yeah,
That's his attack. I think too, like, it wasn't so much the ending that was the point, it was the investigation. And seeing how all these little things can like connect together and knit together, and how close you can come to something and then it just gets away from you. And wasn't the person who figured out Jake Gyllenhaal was the one who figured out the cipher, and he was just a cartoonist.
yeah.
He's obsessed.
Sorry?
Go ahead,
I said
Jake.
out because he was a nerd.
Oh yeah, that too. But like all these detectives are struggling over this, and it was a regular person. And then who was the other one, and his wife? Or was that the cartoonist and his wife that figured it out?
like the science teacher or something like that?
Yeah, the science teacher. That was a real person. I remember reading about him.
But did he
They're
figure
all
it
real
out?
people, Kat.
Did this really happen?
Yeah. Did he actually figure out the cipher though? Because I thought the whole point of the cipher was that the guy put his name in there to like taunt them. And they
figured out pieces of it, and they were able to get patterns from it, but I don't think they were ever to.
The thing was when he sent those ciphers, which, by the way, can I say it's just a really interesting part of the case. I think it's one of my favorite parts. One of the most interesting parts for me is the ciphers and the letters that he sent. But he sent 3 different ciphers
Yeah.
to different news sources. Only one, I believe, was ever solved. So some people think that he actually did put his name in them, and it was either that the first one was translated wrong, or that there was like a secondary translation to it, or that his name was in one of the other.
Yeah, because there were letters that were sent to 3 papers containing a different part of the cipher. So that was the thing too, right? And it was simpler than later efforts, the first one, but then they said that a team of code breakers decided to crack the code specifically because they knew it would be a challenge in 2021. No,
Just last year.
they used software. Yeah, like they used software to help them break the cipher by finding as many as possible reading directions that it could be going, and if the cipher was transpositional. By sheer luck, they found the one solution for how it could be transposed. And then there was just fragments that said, "Hope you are trying to catch me," or "the gas chamber." And it gave them clues. Oh, wow. This is really interesting.
Yeah. It is an incredibly interesting case. And the more you look into it, the more stuff you find out.
Oh, wow. This FBI confirmed the solution. And it was on Twitter. So it was 2020.
Well, that means that it's real.
They solved it and tweeted it? Is that what you're saying?
The FBI tweet, because they were just doing it to, like, these guys are like computer people, and they were just trying to do it. And it turned out the cipher said, "I hope you're having lots of fun in trying to catch me. That wasn't me on the TV show," which brings up a point about me. "I'm not afraid of the gas chamber because it will send me to paradise all the sooner, because I now have enough slaves to work for me, where everyone else has nothing when they reach paradise. But paradise is spelled Paradice. So they are afraid of death. I am not afraid because I know what my new life is. Life will be an easy one in paradise death." But what's the tweet here?
Yeah, it's still trying to be solved. That's what's so interesting about it. I know there was, I don't know, probably Steve or Kat wouldn't know, but maybe Daniel or JT would. There was a group of people on TikTok about a year ago who created a group to try and solve one of the ciphers that was unsolved. Like, it's still a really case in true crime sort of circles, just for the simple fact that it is single-handedly the most infamous American.
Well, I mean, they based the Batman on it, the new version of the Riddler, which as nonsensical. What?
When did that come out? Riddler?
In March.
Is that just the straight to TV one?
No.
Yeah.
There was a Batman movie with Robert Pattinson and the Riddler.
Oh, I did not watch that.
It's you might like it, but
a vampire as Batman?
No, he was good. Anyway, that's another story.
Interesting. Anyways,
but they based the Riddler on the Zodiac killer, and he's much more cryptic than Jim Carrey or the old TV show where they give riddles like what weighs an ounce, 2 ounces, and sits in a tree, a sparrow, and is very dangerous, a sparrow with a machine gun. It's not like that. But no, he's using ciphers and more cryptic styles of riddles.
The inspired a bunch of stuff. It was also the show Dirty Harry was also based off of it as well.
Dirty Harry was based off this? Really?
Yeah. It loosely based, but still was inspiration for it as well.
I did not know that.
Because that was one of the things that you guys mentioned. Of course, it's a long movie, and you were right, Steve, about it. It's also partly to be how it's paced, and that was one of the other things that people were saying is they were worried because there wasn't those action scenes or those faces or anything like that, and the thing that that Fincher said was that he didn't want to make another Dirty Harry. So yeah, he wanted it to be like this. Yeah.
Well, I just saw on Wikipedia that he remembers it happening from his childhood.
Yeah.
there's the quote here is, he says, "I remember coming home and saying the highway patrol had been following our school buses for a couple of weeks now, and my dad, who worked from home and who was very dry, not one to soft pedal things, turned slowly in his chair and said, 'Oh yeah, there's a serial killer who has killed 4 or 5 people who calls himself Zodiac, who's threatened to take a high-powered rifle and shoot out the tires of a school bus and then shoot the children as they come off the bus.'" So that's fun.
That actually did happen, didn't it?
Yeah, it was in the movie. But I'm saying he was on one of the buses and he remembers that from his childhood.
Yeah.
What a love father-son bonding moment, though. Can I just say,
Beautiful.
Truly.
Parents don't spend as much time with their kids as they used to.
Quality time. And
Yeah,
you just wonder how Fincher has made movies about this stuff.
God.
What's that?
I said, I personally can say my dad has never told me I'm going to get shot off of a bus. So, what does that say about nowadays?
That's just bad parenting.
Neglectful.
Yeah.
Don't live in America.
Yeah.
Ouch. Well, hey.
To all our American viewers. Sorry.
Say that with sadness in our hearts.
Canada's next, so.
Is there anything else that we want to talk about this? Like, is there anything sorry, Riley, were you going to say something there?
No.
I just wondered if there was anything else that anybody else wanted to say about the film.
If you're interested in true crime, you should watch it. And if you're not interested in true crime, what are you living for anyways?
Marvel movies. I was only interested in the Zodiac when I found out that they put it about Batman. Once they made Batman about it, I was like, wow, this is fascinating. No.
Spoiler alert, Mercury's in retrograde.
Well, I guess the question lies then, is this a movie to be missed?
I picked it. I don't think it's necessarily a movie to miss. Just even if you're not a true crime person, just for the sake of how this case influenced so much, and how prevalent this case is, and how shocking that the killing started in the 60s, and we're now in 2022 and it still hasn't been solved, and just for that fact. So I say it's a really good movie and I don't think you should miss it. And if you think differently, it doesn't matter, because BBC's critic poll in 2016 said it was the 12th greatest film of the 21st century. So
what?
Yeah.
What? I wouldn't go that far.
Well, that's what the 2016 critics poll done by BBC said. So
I'm speechless to that. I wouldn't go that far, but okay.
Rank it that high.
What was that?
I said the Zodiac killer paid them to rank it that high.
It's he paid for bots again. It's back to the bots.
He just sent letters.
Well, I thought it was great. I don't think it's the 12th greatest film of the 21st century. That's uncomfortable, but I do think it was really good. It's long, and it's not. There's not a lot to see in terms of like you said. He didn't want to make Dirty Harry. He made a riveting, character-driven, psychological thriller. But no, I thought it was good. I think it's worth checking out. I don't think it's to be missed. What about the rest of you?
Yeah, I mean, if you like true crime, psych thrillers, even if you've just kind of like heard about the case and maybe have some interest in it, but don't want to go and read a bunch of articles or whatever, I think this is a good, it's a good watch. You get a lot of information. that, again, from my understanding, is true. If you don't like true crime or super long movies or whatever, then obviously you're a troglodyte. So,
Word of the day.
yeah, I think it's a good one to watch. Yeah, I don't remember what the opposite of miss it is.
See it. Don't miss.
We just
Don't-
said it. Yeah, don't miss it.
I swear we had like a little term. Isn't like something
Screen
or
it.
It's
screen it or skip it.
Screen it,
Yeah.
skip it. But yeah, I guess you could do that. Yeah, screen it. JT,
Yeah, I would say the same. I would say see it and prepare for it. It's a long movie. Get snacks. But if you enjoyed movies such as Seven and Silence of the Lambs and The Bone Collector, you'll enjoy this as well.
Well, JT, what do you think?
That's pretty good. Pretty interesting. Entertaining. I don't know if you would say you could skip it or not or screen it. I could go with either. I guess it's a miss it for me, but at the same time, I am glad I saw it because it was interesting. I don't know. I'm on the fence.
I'll choose.
Okay.
I mean, it's no Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah.
It's not.
I'm still trying to figure out Jason's movie.
The Big
Like,
Short.
yeah, when they would have the celebrities come in to dumb it down, I'd still be like, what? That's an intelligent movie right there.
Well, I mean, there it is. There it is. And thank you, Riley, for bringing that pick and for giving us, leading us in discussion and helping us with that.
Of course, the 12th greatest film of the 21st century in 2016, at least.
I can't subscribe to that. I wonder what they would say in 2022. Anyway, we will be back next week. We're for Daniel's pick. We look forward to finding out what that will be. It could be. I have a feeling it's going to be very different than the trends that we've gotten so far, and I am looking forward to it. I'm here for it. A reminder, you can find us wherever podcasts are available, and you can like and subscribe to us on YouTube. We always appreciate that. And we look forward to seeing you again next week. Thank you all for being a part of this. And remember, I always mess this up. Every time I mess this
It's
up.
not about the length, it's about how it feels.
Okay. It's not about the movies you miss, it's about the movies that matter.
To you.
Yeah,
To you.
not to you.
I still think it makes more sense with to you, but anyway. We'll see you next week.
Goodbye.
And cut.